Hello, and welcome to this series of videos in which we will show you how to create apps and portals using the Silver Essence platform. In today's video, we are going to have a look at the way to create the menu in the portal. So let's log into the portal and let's have a look at the different options that we have for configuration. So we log in using username and password, and here we enter the screen of organizations. So the menu consists of three different options here. As you can see, we have the menu here on top, through which you can click using these buttons on top. So that's one part of the menu we can configure. Then we have these buttons on the left side here, large visual icons for the user, which you can use on a tablet using your thumb. And in the left corner on the bottom, we have kind of like a start menu. And in the start menu, you can use text instead of the icons that you have in the index menu. So here you can create a kind of like process flow and you can describe what should be done in here. So that's three options for the menu, and in this video we will show you how to manipulate this in the configuration. Oh, and by the way, by going into the left corner, I can enable this menu, but I can also enable the menu without going to that left bottom corner by using the Alt-Z key combination. We have different hotkeys and you can use Alt-H to bring up this list of all the hotkeys that are available. So just have a look at that and try it, and you will find nice combinations here. For example, Alt-N to create something new in this screen here. So that's a little side step here for the portal. Now let's go to the system menu and go into the full editor. Log on with the partner username and password and click log in to start the editor. Now we covered most sections of the editor, like mapping, where we did the base entities and the domain related stuff. And here in modeling, we did business entities, business controllers, and copy actions. And today we are going to have a look at the portal. Portal, that is where you configure the menu of the portal. By default, it will open with the list of index buttons. That are these buttons on the left. Well, the one on top is the user button that will always be there, and these buttons come from the configuration. Now let's add a button for the service issues in our menu, and we can do that here by clicking the Add New Index button here, and that will add it to this list. So click Add New Index button, and then the screen on the right will show you the entry form for a new index button. Let's call it Service Issues, and the tooltip, if the user moves the mouse over it, will also be Service Issues. And that will link to the business controller service issues. So that's basically it. And then you can add some other options here as well. So you could have it open in a new window or a new tab by default. And that will leave the user's screen where he was. So if he's done entering new service issues and he closes the tab, he will be back at the same place. Here on the right, you can pick an icon from our icon set. And let's see, I think we have a nice tool issue here or timer. Let's see what we will use. Let's use this one, the tools. Yeah, that will be a nice one for the user. If you select it, you will see here a preview of how it will look in the index button bar. So let's click to save, and then the index button will be added here. We click Save Configuration to save and apply the changes. And let's go back here to the Business Controllers tab. And let's right click and reload the frame here. And there you can see it. The button is added here. And if you click it, it will bring up the service issues here. Now, maybe this screen is a bit small to work on. So let's expand that a little so you have more space here. So if that still isn't enough, you can go here and have a look here. Now, let's copy paste this URL because you need to do one trick here. The changes are applied to the configuration for the editor, and the editor uses this parameter config store equals session. If you use this, and let's reorder the tabs a little bit, if you use this, then the editor memory will be used. This is the memory that is used by all other users that are working in the portal. And while we are doing all these changes, the user will not be seeing them until we are ready. And I will show you that later. So we can see the service issues here and we can click, and then it will open up the tab here with the service issues. That was because we checked the box open in a new window. So let's close this tab again, and then we are back here. So config store is session. That will bring up the memory from the editor and leave that out, and then you will see users have the old menu, and we will use that later. So let's go to the next part of the menu. Okay, let's go back to the portal here. So we have the index buttons here for the left menu. So let's bring up the next part for the configuration. And that will be the quick jumps. That's the menu in the left bottom corner. And as you can see, quick jumps are separated into groups. So we have a group called CRM, and that holds two options here. And we want to add such a group for service issues. So let's go back here. And as you can see, that's the group for CRM. And we are going to create a new group here. Click Add New Quick Jump Group. And let's call that Service Management. And maybe because that's important, we want to position that above the CRM. So it appears as the first option in that left menu. So if you save it, it will show the list of quick jumps within that group, and that list is empty now. So let's add a quick jump here. We can give it a title. So here you can enter descriptive text which makes it easier for the user to understand why he should click on this. So let's enter checkout service issues that are open. Okay, here we do not select a controller. You can use that by ticking this icon here on the right, and this will help you on the way. And remember the video of the navigate URL. So we select the business controller service issue, and it will prepare part of the hyperlink here already. So controller is service issue and processed equals 0. That's what we want to use for this hyperlink. We click and save that one. So let's add another one here. And we call that check for service issues that are processed. So enter the title for the quick jump here. Let's paste it in here and just change the 0 into 1. And maybe the user should create a new service issue from this menu as well. So let's add a third option here. If the user cannot find it, he can create it. So service issue not found, create a new one. That's the text we add here. And then we say add new equals 1. That's the hyperlink we want to have here. Click to save and add this quick jump. And there you have 3 options within the quick jump group. Click save and apply the configuration. And let's go back here. And again, use config store is session. And there you will see service manager and the 3 options for searching or creating the new service issue from that menu. So that's one way to create this menu. It's much more descriptive than the icons. And again, if the user does not use config store is session, they will still see the old menu. This also applies to all other changes in the configuration. So it makes it not that difficult for a user that screens are changing while he is working. This is a kind of a buffer for your changes. So use config store is session if you want to preview what you did in the editor before publishing them. So let's go to the top menu here and let's see. We have the Silver Solutions building, we have floors, we have rooms, and in the room you can find someone, something, or you can do something there. That's the way, kind of like organic, we build that. So you have a floor, you go to a certain room, and then you go to find someone, something, or do something. And you can use different colors to make it more visual for the user. But that's not part of this video. In this video, we are going to do that building menu. So let's go back to the editor. And let's expand this panel here. And you can see currently our building is very small. We only have one floor that corresponds with only one button, other than the system button, of course, for the configuration. Now let's add a new floor here. And let's call this floor service management. So you enter that here with the ID, and you can enter that here in the UI name as well. Now you can have these checkboxes for external or internal allowed. We're not going to cover that in this video. Just be sure you check the box active. That's the only option you need to know for this video right now. So there you have it. The floor is created and there will automatically be one room there. So save and apply these changes. Refresh the page, and as you can see, Service Manager is added and you have that room here. Okay, let's close up this one. And again, to show you, for all other users, these changes are still not visible. Okay, let's go back to the editor. And we are going to change the name because this is not a good name for the menu. So we click the edit icon here on the right to modify this room. So let's change the name. We want to have operations here because we want to separate the things we have that have to do with the service issues themselves, and we want to have one for the master data. So here also external, internal allowed, just ignore these boxes. Make sure internal allowed is checked on. Make sure that it is active, and then we will go into who, what, and actions. Now, these sections correspond with options for coloring the UI, but now we are just going to use the what can you find here panel. So we are going to make it visible by checking this box here, and we have to save this change using the save icon there on the right. So this will make it visible in the end, and this is also an option if you are working on it and you want to publish part of your changes. You can leave this one on invisible. So we are going to add an option, and that will be the service object, and this will lead to the business controller service object, and it's active. So that's button number 1 in our menu option. The next thing we are going to add, those are the service issues. And service issues will lead to the business controller service issue. And as you can see, you can also use an alternate URL. So just create the URL you want to use and you can pick it there. Let's enter another one and let's enter locations here. And that will lead to the business controller location. And in the process, it's much more logic if it is between the service object and the service issue. So let's position it above the service issues. That's one you can select here. If you save it here, it will save and then it will be here in between the service objects and the locations. So there we have them. We save and apply the changes to the configuration, and let's refresh the page here. Now you have the service manager, it has operations, and it has these 3 options here. And if you click on it, you can go to that selected option. Let's go back here. We are done with operations, so let's exit this room. And we are going to add another room. And we can do that by clicking the icon here, the plus icon in front of rooms, to edit a new room. So click the plus button, and besides operations, we want to have a button called master data. And we copy that to the UI name. Internal is allowed and it should be active. Don't worry, we will cover that in a security video in a later series. For this series, we stick to the basics. So there's the new room. This is the what panel that's already expanded here. We make it visible and save it. And then we are going to add the options here. Well, options, there's only one option because it's just a small example that we are building here. We want to have the service issue types available from the menu that will link to the business controller service issue type, and that's going to be saved here. So there it is, one room with only one option, and we save and apply the changes again. So now we go back here and refresh the page, and there you will see another option, and you can switch here to go to the maintenance of the service issue types. So that will make a nice menu for the user to navigate through the service management options that we added to Simple CRM. So a top menu, the left index buttons, and then the quick jump options here in the bottom left corner that you can access also using the Alt-Z key combination from your keyboard. Now, users that are working do not see these changes yet. But since we have finished our menu, it is time to publish our changes. So let's go into the editor and the bottom left corner, click Publish. Here you can see you have two running solutions. One in application mode, that's what all users are using, and one in session mode. Now, clear the cache of the application that is running. Now refresh the page, and as you can see, now all the changes made to the configuration are published. All the changes are available. So click Publish, select the application, and then click Reset Cache. This will publish all the changes you make from the session to the configuration. And from there, you don't need to have that parameter for config store is session. Now everything will be available. And as you can see, when users start using the application, the business controller list builds up again. So each time a business controller is used, you can see which controllers are currently in use. So that will give you an idea of what people are doing. So that's it for the portal menu. That's it for this video.